back and we're ready to start quilting. First, before I start the machine up, I want to tell you a few things I did before I got it ready to go. The first one being I did a little machine cleaning and maintenance. This is a nifty little thing. This side is a vacuum cleaner, and then I can use this as a blower. So I used the little vacuum on the table itself that you can see it kind of behind the machine here. Because threads and fuzz and lint get all in that, and you don't want it getting caught up under the carriage of the machine. And then I use this end to blow out the bobbin case, which is down here underneath the machine right now. I wound some bobbins with the thread I'm going to use that will show on the backing of the quilt, and they're ready to go. And then I changed my needle every time I start a new quilt on the machine. After I've basted everything, I put a fresh needle in the machine before I start running the pattern. And then, I use my little handy toolkit I got from Harbor Freight for not very much money. That's a great place to go buy sewing tools. Then I do a test, kind of a little test run here with a scrap of fabric laying on top of the batting, and to check my stitches on top and look at my tension on the bottom. I have to crawl under the machine with a flashlight to look at that, but all looks good. And I also make notes in a little notebook. I count how many start points I have on here, which is basically how many rows, and I write that number down, and as I go along I mark off the row that gets finished, and then if I have to change the bobbin, put in a new bobbin in the middle of a row, I write that down, and then I can kind of gauge how far I can go before I have to change it out again. If I have any kind of problem or issue, I also make note of that too and kind of write down what I did to fix it in case it happens again. And then I'm ready to go. So now over to I'm going to set my book down here. What I've done now is I have pulled my pattern in that I saved from the last video. I've pulled my design in, and before when I set up where I want the machine to actually start, I use a Sharpie and make a dot on my batting up there. You can kind of see it up under the needle. And when I come back to this, I put my machine there and I drop the needle in that spot. So when I pull this pattern back in, it drops right there where my needle is, and I don't have to tell it to go there. It's already there. Now, the big pink box that was on here when we set the design up is gone, and that's okay, because the machine now knows this is how much space it's going to fill. The important box is this red one right here, because that's how much space the machine has to work in. And you can see here's my little start point, and that little target is my start point, and it's going to do a partial row, and then we have room to put another row of this design in here. And I don't think I actually said this last night or in the last video, why I picked this pattern over another one that I had my eye on. This one has a lot of movement, and this top is very vertical, so I thought it would look better to have some movement going on, and I think it'll be really pretty. And it kind of has that Art Deco look to it like these ladies do. So, okay, here we go. I'm getting ready to tell the machine to start, and there's some settings that I want to make sure are on that just make it easier to finish up the quilt when it's time. And so I'm going to hit this button that says run. This always makes me really nervous. I just kind of, I'm gonna hit this button that says run, and there's some settings I need to check. My needle's up. My stitches per inch are at 11. I have a speed set on. I tell the machine to pull up the bobbin thread so I can get that done. And when I've checked all those settings, I just hit proceed. And it has pulled up the bobbin thread for me, and I go right back over there. And now this is the part that really makes me nervous. Then you hit resume. and it's going to do 5 or 6 stitches right here to tie off the thread. And here it goes. And it's just moving right along. That's good. That's a good thing. And probably, sometimes I hold this edge down as it comes across it because it flips. Sometimes it flips the edge over. And we want it to stay smooth. Oh, Houston, we have a problem. My thread broke. Or is fraying or something. And I'm not sure what's going on. So we're going to take a pause and try to work this problem out. It is not stitching. And so I'm going to have to do some resetting and restarting. So we're going to go investigate and we'll be back. Okay. I think we found the problem, and it was I hope it was a super easy fix. When I changed out the needle, you have to unthread it, of course, and there's a hole here that the thread has to run through, and I think I forgot to thread it back through there. That might have been the cause of the shredding. We can only hope. But what I had to do was go back and tell the machine where to start back up, and we've got it marked, and it's ready to start. So let's see if that took care of our problem. Here we go. Resume. And let's pull it. It pulls up my bobbin thread. Oops. Come on, bobbin thread. Where? Now we have another issue. What is that? Oh, because the bobbin thread didn't get cut. So, now, I'll have to do it again. Hopefully. Yeah, that took care of it. It didn't break the bobbin thread, so. Okay, so here we go. Now, finally, again, resume. It's doing its tie-offs. Okay, we finished this first partial row, whew, and that seemed to be the problem. We're not having any issues right now, so I'm going to cut my threads and go back to the other side. What I really can do, I could trim my thread and hit the resume button and the machine would travel all the way, but it takes a really long time, so he's not a runner. She's not a runner. So I'm going to clip my thread here. Oops. All I'm gonna do is just keep running through this. Since we had the big issue, we'll just stop here and I will meet you back later and talk about the finish point when we get finished. See ya. We're back. We're ready to stitch out the very last row of this quilt, and I don't know what I did, but I had one more row than I needed, so we made some adjustments, and hopefully Handyman helped me think it out, and so we're hoping that everything we figured out is really going to work. So we'll find out when you do. After we stopped filming last night, we had one more little thread crisis, and it started skipping stitches, and then the thread broke again, so I started doing some, Googling and handy quilter searching, And one of the options it told me to try was to change to a larger size needle because of the thread I'm using up here and how it differs from the thread I'm using in the bobbin. You can use two different kinds of thread, but you do have to make adjustments. And I didn't know that because newbie. So here we go. We're gonna give it a try. We're gonna see what this does. So fingers crossed, everybody. Oh. La, la, la. Check all the things. Proceed. Pull up the bobbin thread. Okay. That's odd. So, hang on. We'll be right back. Sorry I'm talking so loud. This baby is noisy. But we don't know what happened, but when I hit resume again, she just took off. So, here we are, and it looks like we're pretty smart because it's quilting just like we expected it to. So, we'll be back in just a second. To the end here, and it's gonna finish stitching out. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It ran out of bobbin. Okay, we'll be right back one more time. We don't know if you can see this very well, but this is where it stopped stitching, right there, and it was going to go down and around and end right here. So it's too much to leave open, so I'm going to change the bobbin, and then we'll start back up again. Okay, here we go for the last, 30 stitches? Let's hope it goes like it's supposed to. Can you believe that? Yeah, that's all I had left. Okay, so then I'm gonna start disassembling this from the machine. First, oops, I need to trim the thread so I don't. But woohoo, we are done quilting this. We're still not done with the quilt. I'm gonna take it, get it loose from the frame, and we'll show you the whole thing as it comes off the machine. So, be right back. Okay, here she comes. The red snappers kind of make it hard to get it off sometimes. All right, so now I pull off the red snappers. Like this. That sure beats unpinning, let me tell you. All right. So here we are. One more step closer to being finished with this quilt. So yay, there she is.